PC fam, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. I hope y'all are watching basketball. Last night was a hell of a basketball game. It was great. It was great. Late game heroics. Everything you want in a playoff game. Chill. We were on playback during the game, so I know you saw every second of it. How did you feel about that? Just. We're not going to waste no time. We're getting straight into it. You know what I'm saying? How did you feel about what you saw last night? I know initially, I think we felt like the Pacers had a good handle on the game.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it was at the end of the third, we were still very aware of the fact that there's plenty of basketball left to play. But I did not see this coming. Chill. What did you think about it?
Ox, I want to start this conversation by saying if you aren't into basketball and if you aren't into basketball and you want to get into basketball, this is the kind of basketball you should be watching. This basketball specifically. Forget any other basketball that's going on, whether it's this basketball specifically. This is some of the best basketball that I've ever seen. Ball movement, action, defense, coaching, understanding of the game. This is at its highest level. This is some of the best basketball. I get two different feeds. You know, Adam Silva is telling me that there isn't another show on TV at night that's getting ratings like the NBA Finals. That includes Law and Order. None of these, nobody is watching like they're watching the NBA Finals. But then I'm also getting people telling me that this is the lowest rated NBA Final. So somebody's lying on one end. With that being said, this is some of the best basketball that I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of basketball in my life. I love everything about these two teams, the physicality. They know where the line is. There's a difference between being physical and being dirty. There is no dirty play here. They're just being physical. And you got to play through that physicality. In addition to playing through that physicality, you got to stay in your action. So I'm watching Indiana continuously force the action. And when they force the action, they now get comfortable in their game. With their transition game, right? So Tyrese Halliburton, I saw yesterday him finding Miles Turner, who, to be honest, as an offensive player. I think is because I feel like once Indiana got into their secondary action, got to their secondary break, when you get the trailing big, he causes so many problems when he knocks down that shot. If he knocks down that mid-range or that long ball, that puts so much pressure on their defense, but he's not able to do that, which now gives Oklahoma City, that gives them so much more leeway to get back on defense. When they get back on defense, we already see what they look like in the half court, even in transition. But if Miles Turner is knocking down that 17-footer in the secondary break, or as you, the big guy, know, as the trailer, that puts so much pressure on their defense, and he hasn't been able to do that. And if he was been able to do that, these are games that I feel like Indiana could have won going away. Game 3, 1 for 8 from the floor. Yesterday, he wasn't very good shooting the basketball. These are problems I feel like problems that could be remedied if he was better. And I don't think that they have anybody to supplement. I mean, Bryant's good. Don't get me wrong. I think Bryant is good, but I don't think he's not Miles Turner. In addition to him, I mean, the kid Bradley is young, and I understood why Rick Carlisle played him early in the series to get a feel and to make Dagnall coach also. But last night, Ox, what I saw an Indiana team that got done to them what they do to other people. They were the better team for the majority of the game. Oklahoma City recognizes who Indiana is, and they played the entire game. They didn't play for 35 minutes. They didn't play for 42 minutes. They played the entire game. We get into a space where I'm thinking, is Indiana going to win the world championship? But then Oklahoma City is just hanging around. And while they're hanging around, there's Shai, who isn't playing great, by the way. I mean, he's missing reads. He's missing guys wide open. That mid-range shot that we talk about, you're going to live with all night. He's going to kill you with that eventually. And that's exactly what ended up happening. He got going in the fourth quarter. I think he had 15 in the fourth quarter last night. Up until that point, he wasn't shooting it really well. Nemhart
felt like 20. Chill. Felt like 20.
It did. It was some of the loudest fit. Like, Ox, that could happen. A lot of people don't recognize in the basketball community that you can get a loud 15 and you could definitely get a quiet 25. That could definitely happen. And last night, SGA wasn't really doing much. boy, that volume got turned up last night in the fourth quarter with that 15. Got really loud. So I feel like this Oklahoma City team, it kind of reminds me of what happened in 2011 with Dirk Nowitzki, where Dirk Nowitzki had games where just keep it close, and at the end, I'll finish it.
Mm-hmm.
At the end, I'll finish it, and we'll move on. And I feel like that's kind of what happened yesterday. I think their rotation play has got to be better. Indiana's rotation players. I thought Obi gave him some really good minutes yesterday. Benedict Mathurin, I think that we're in a space of the law of averages. Like, he gave me that game, and he goes from giving me that game to this game. And I don't mean this game in terms
That's not
of
a law of averages thing, Chill.
Well, here's what I'm saying, Ox. Hear me out, because I know that sounds ridiculous. When I get this, I do expect this at some point in terms of shooting. What I don't expect is I don't expect you to lose your mind.
Right. Okay. That's what I'm saying.
That's
like I feel like law averages. I got hot today. I went 6 for 8, and then the next day I went 1 for 7.
Yes.
Grabbing wrists while somebody's running away, obviously clear. I could see clear as day. You grabbed him. You know what I'm saying? You at least tugged him back. His arm. You hold on his arm. You did it. You ran him down, and all those before the ball comes into play. So now they're shooting free throws. Then you go to the free throw line, and what, he missed 3 free throws out of 4. I mean, he missed 4. It was terrible. Unfortunately, Benedict Mathurin is going to get the blame for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know how to feel about that. I think it's hard for me to put the blame game on one person in a loss. You know what I mean? It's like he did play terrible, and he definitely let his team down. But just saying it's his fault, I'm not going to do that. But
let's do this.
That was a terrible last 3 minutes of the game.
I was about to say that. Let's do that, because Oklahoma City, when he goes to the stripe, it's still a 2-possession game. So it's not like if the game is tied, he goes to the free throw line and he can put them up 2 or he can put them up 1. No, that's not what's going on. It's still a 2-possession game. But like I said, when I'm here in terms of shooting, the law of averages is, at some point, I'm going to go back down. But I still have to play smart, because my team is dependent on me to not make dumb plays. So if we're in a 2-possession game and we're still in a nip-tuck game, I can't foul. I got to make free throws. These are the things that I have to do in order to keep us in the game, as opposed to I'm making fouls, which is putting them on the stripe. Not only am I making fouls, Ox, I'm fouling when the ball is in bounds, which is now giving them the ball back and giving them points, which is not helping us, because we can't give away any more points. And that's what I'm doing. I'm killing us in that aspect of the game. And I know how you feel about that, Ox, because, I mean, we're fighting for our lives here. That's what we're doing. Yeah. We're literally fighting for our playoff lives here. And the last thing that my crew needs from me is for me to do bonehead stuff like this at the end of games. I can't do that. And I'm not going to blame it on him, but I can tell you right now, Ox, he didn't help. No.
Oh, not at all. Not at all. No, he was an absolute negative. Absolute negative.
He didn't help.
That was terrible. I wonder why Rick Carlisle doesn't close with TJ more.
I don't hate that, to be honest with you. And I think the reason why is because with TJ, you got 2 primary ball handlers on the floor between him and Halliburton. I don't think he trusts TJ playing off the ball as much, and I definitely don't think he trusts Halliburton playing off the ball nearly as much. I don't mind I don't mind the height problem, because TJ, he plays bigger than what he is, and exactly. A lot of people, I don't think a lot of people will give him credit for that. TJ, especially when we get in situations where the ball goes through the net or the ball comes off the glass, he plays a lot bigger than what he is. But I think Rick Carlisle, more than anything, I think that he doesn't really like TJ playing off the ball. I mean, not TJ, I'm sorry. I don't think he likes Halliburton playing off the ball as much in the meat and potatoes of the game, more than anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but the beginning. So it seemed like in the second half, Shai made a conscious effort of, if we lose, we're losing on me.
Yep.
And I know we having some conversations yesterday about efficiency, and he has as many points as shots. And I've said this since the playoffs started. I don't care about any of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. I know. I believe Mars was saying yesterday that it was just it looked selfish. And I would agree that it looked a little selfish as well. I would agree with Mars on that. but I would also say I don't care. You know what I mean? Because in these playoffs, you got to do what you got to do to win basketball games. I think SGA did what he had to do. I think there were some possessions where he didn't, on the offensive end, it looked like Shai didn't even know he had 4 other people out there. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it was him in the defense, and he was just tunnel vision. There's the hoop. Yep. I'm shooting the ball, and you need your star player to have that mentality at times.
Sure.
You do, and it worked out. I mean, what you saying?
I think that I think we live in such a space where there's 2 sides to it. I mean, on the one hand, we want SGA to go for 35, 40, but when he does it, we want him to do it in the way that we like it, instead of the way that's the most effective to win. Okay, yesterday is a game that if we lose, we go down 3-1. Now, I can appreciate the logic of quote-unquote hero ball. This isn't anything new from SGA. SGA has had tunnel vision all season long. Don't forget, he does lead the league in scoring, Ice. Right? Don't leave that part out, Ox. He does lead the league in scoring. So he has stretches where he has tunnel vision, where he doesn't see anybody else, and he's got to get it done. Well, where else better to do that when we're in a dire strait where we're down in a series and we need buckets? Because at that point they were struggling in terms of getting points. Nembhard is doing everything that he can to slow down SGA, right? And we're praising Nembhard in terms of defense. Meanwhile, SGA 34, 38, 35. I mean, he's holding on for dear life as long as he can, right? Nembhard is holding on to dear life for as long as he can. But then SGA gets going. SGA eventually gets going when he gets to that mid-range, when he's getting downhill, when he gets to the rim, and I think that the thing that I marvel at SGA, I really dig in terms of the physicality. I dig how he picks and chooses where he can be physical, and he knows the line. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Nembhard has frustrated him in some aspects in this series. I've never seen SGA throw bows. I've never seen SGA, push like that. And this is SGA going up against some of the better defenders in the game. But when you're going up against somebody 3, 4, 5 times, and every time you turn around, this is where they are, eventually you're going to be like, man, back up, get off. Yeah. And I feel like Nembhard has done that to SGA, but I feel like SGA has calmed himself down and got his composure last night, because up until the middle of the third quarter, late in the third quarter, it didn't look like that. But they kept hanging around. With them hanging around, SGA just got going. And as a bucket getter, all you do is I feel like you just need to see one of them go in. And once one went in, he ended up getting to that step back on the left wing in the mid-range, knocked that down. I felt like the fluidity of his game started to come back. And once that happened, they sensed it. I think Oklahoma City sensed it. They started going to him more. With them going to him more, that gave them even more confidence to shoot the basketball. That gave them even more confidence to get on the glass. And I felt like SGA's energy was the difference. In the fourth quarter, it was the difference in them playing better. So now J-Dub, who wasn't really doing much, right? Who wasn't really doing much late. That's what SGA's reasoning is for being there, to be quite honest with you. Close games.
I like to see that from SGA though. When you know what I'm saying, when defenses are starting to get rough with him, grab and hold. I like to see a little elbow, a little push. I you know what I'm saying? Like, I was watching this Western the other day, right? And it was a older rancher. He got a young kid that comes on to the place.
Love Westerns, by the way. Love Westerns.
Love them. My favorite. There's always good life lessons in them. And the young kid that were picking at him, getting at him, and then probably I think on like the 5th day, he loses it. And the older rancher was like, if I was watching you, if you would have lost your cool in those first 3 days, I would have thought you were a hothead, no self-control. But if you would have went on for a whole week, I would have thought of you as a coward. You know what I mean? Like eventually, let me get rid of this dude real quick.
Yeah. I'm straight.
But But you know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at it. Like, okay, SGA, you're not losing your mind out here anytime somebody does something to you. But eventually, you know what I'm saying, you can't do too much to me. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I like that.
I feel like SGA, the consummate pro, and yesterday in particular, I think that they put him in the space where he's more apt to be able to rock one-on-one. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think SGA I think SGA is really good in pick and pop, pick and dive, and getting guys off him. I think the problem is, Ox. The problem is when we get in space where you are physical with SGA, and then you got guys like, for example, Nembhard, who does what Alex Caruso does. He does a great job in fighting over screens. They do a great job in drop coverage with SGA. They do a great job in chasing SGA off of screens. Well, when they chase SGA off of screens, what I need more than anything is I need for my recovery guy to be there. And Nembhard is there. Once my recovery guy, whether it's Miles Turner, whether it's Obi Toppin, who Obi Toppin is a very good one-on-one, but if you could just slow him down until I could get back, I think that they've done a damn good. I think they did a damn good job at that. The difference is I think SGA recognized, all right, well, this screen and roll thing is not going to work late in the game. Mm-hmm. Even though he's worn down, I am too. But I got to find something where I can get to the basket. I got to find something where I got to find something not only where I can get to the basket, but also I can get him off me. These screens aren't going to continue to work. So I got to find moves where I can, and I think that he did that. I think that he started to get to the free throw line. That backed Nembhard off of him a little bit. I feel like his step back when he was more physical with Nembhard, I thought that was working. All of these things in combination, I felt like that wore them down. And again, Ox, it didn't help with Benny those last 3 minutes in the game. It didn't help with Benny. He's not helping us, right? Because we do need you to make open shots, which you did a couple of days ago. We do need you to make open shots. But if your shot isn't working, we can't have you making bonehead plays like fouling when the ball isn't in bounds, because now these are plays where we're giving them points. We don't want to give Oklahoma City any more free points, and I think that was one of their major problems. Now we're going back to Oklahoma City for Game 5, Ox. I think the Game 5 winner. I think the Game 5 winner wins this series.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Let me run through a couple of super chats real quick.
Yep.
Cowboy Bob sent the super chat, said Mathurin missed 3 free throws and gave 2 fouls to Shai. Shaking my head. Mm-hmm. Also, Big Ox Bob kept saying we got time on the clock. I felt they were running similar Brunson plays for Shai, but the defense on him was great. Go New York, go.
It was. I felt like the defense was fantastic on him, but I just think that it was better offense at the end. I think that people, and Ox, you and I have had this conversation, and it gets so. I feel like it gets so thrown to the wayside. You know, you can play good defense and get cooked. That can happen. Just so we clear.
100%.
Ox, when you say that, I think that goes right over people's head. They think that, you know, you're just getting your ass bust. Like, my hand is in your face. I'm all over you. It's just the offense is better. And I feel like last night with SGA, he was creating that little bit of separation from Nembhard that he needed. Because to be honest with you, when you're talking about a scorer, it doesn't take that much separation. It's not like we got scorers in the league today where they need a boatload of room. No, I just need a little bit of daylight. I just need a little bit of daylight to see the basket, or a little bit of daylight from you to get my shot off, and I'm gonna get going. That's what happened last night with SGA. As good as Nembhard was, as good as Shepard was trying to be, blowing up plays, fighting over screens, being physical with SGA. SGA is a professional bucket getter. With SGA being a professional bucket getter, he knows how to create space. He knows the spots that he wants to get to. He knows how to create fouls. He was able to get to the free throw line a little bit more last night than he did. And I'm not buying this logic of a guy getting to the free throw line being a free throw merchant. All great scorers get to the stripe. Let's knock off the nonsense. And you guys are trying to sell me, well, Steph Curry doesn't get to the free throw line because Steph Curry's primarily a long ball shooter. He doesn't go to the free throw line. He doesn't go to the rim nearly as much as Jordan or SGA or Bryant or Leonard or any of these guys.
And we're gonna talk a little bit about Steph here later on in the show as well. I do want to say this about Ben Mathurin missing 3 free throws and giving 2 fouls. That those weren't 2 fouls. That was compounded. If he commits those fouls when the ball gets into play, then it's just a free throw and we go down. In fact, as some coaches would prefer that in that part of the game. But when you're fouling, when the ball is still in the inbounder's hands, you get the free throws and then the ball back. So it wasn't just 2 fouls. It was much bigger than that. Like, what Benedict Mathurin did last night was was I don't even know the word past egregious. Chill. If you get if you got some for the vocab for the people, whatever's past egregious, that's what that was. That's what Ben McMaster did. Putrid.
Pathetic.
That's great. Pathetic. I'm with all of that. Like my thing is because chill. I'm more so with the Tom Thibodeau way of thinking in those aspects.
Sure.
As soon as he grabbed his wrist on that play, he's out. He's out. Like no, Ben, we're not. No. You're done, bro. Like, the other foul and all that stuff would have never happened.
Sure.
Because he would maybe it would have happened, but it wouldn't have been him doing it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Ox, let me ask you this question really quickly. So in that aspect of the game, we got a 2-possession game. There's 3 minutes left in the game. We're fighting for our lives. Is the most important thing possessions?
Is the most important thing possessions?
Is the most important thing possessions?
I would say
for you as a basketball team, is having the basketball the most important thing for you?
Yes.
So when
securing the ball, yes.
So when you foul like that on an inbound, that's an extra possession that you're giving away. In addition to points, to your point, that's an extra possession now I have, and I got to play defense another possession. So I'm giving them the ball back. They get to shoot free throws. Now I got to go back and play defense again. Then you turn around and do it again. And then when you turn around and you do it again, now I got to give you another possession. Now I give you another possession, and I'm giving you more points. And in addition to giving you more points, I got to play defense again. You're killing us.
Yeah, definitely. I don't understand it. And this super chat right here, well, it's kind of gonna go into it a little bit more because, like I said, I think you should have got TJ in there. But Average Joe says OG is right. It's because if TJ is in at the end, that's a non-spacer out there with Howard, and that's tough down the stretch versus the OKC defense.
Yeah.
I disagree with that. I'm trying to figure out how was TJ a non-spacer. Average Joe, I'm going to drop the link here in about 15 minutes. If you don't mind, please click on it. Or you don't have to, but I'm just saying I'm really curious about that. Chill. And if you think TJ is a non-spacer, maybe you could just discuss it.
Sure.
Because I don't understand. I think calling people that don't shoot the 3-ball very well or very often a non-spacer is a cop-out, and it doesn't really explain what spacing is in basketball. When you have guys like I seen Tyrese. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of times Tyrese got downhill and got to the lane, made a hell of a layup over, was it Chet or Ihart, that went up to the top of the glass and boom, dropped in. He did that a couple times. So I'm not saying he couldn't get to the rim, but there was times when when Tyrese couldn't get to the rim. He had to choose and settle for crazy step back threes and all that, right? TJ doesn't really have that problem, Chill. TJ can penetrate the defense, get down, and sometimes he can score, he can kick it out, he can make that's spacing.
Sure.
When you collapse the defense, anytime you make the defense shift, the defense move, that is spacing. That's what spacing is. It's about spreading out the defense, it's about moving the defense. Sometimes spacing is even collapsing the defense. You know what I'm saying? So I'm curious to know, how is TJ a non-spacer?
Well, the more you're able to create more space, right? The more you're able to create more space, the more you're able to drive and collapse the defense. And if I got 2 guys on the floor who don't create as much space, it's kind of like having 2 CEOs. Well, I don't need both of you guys. I got one of you guys who does this. The other one, I don't need you, even though you probably just are as good as this guy. But 2 of you guys out here, and not both of you. CJ will knock down the mid-range. CJ will get to the rim. But in order to do that, you still have to create space at the long ball line. You still have to create space. I feel like you still have to create space amongst the 22 to 24-foot line to spread out the defense. You still have to be able to create that kind of space in order to allow the defense to collapse. Well, Tyrese Halliburton already does that. Don't get me wrong. I think that TJ McConnell is very good at getting downhill and forcing the action, which is great. But when we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, who is the better playmaker? Who is the guy who I want with the ball in his hands? I want the ball in Tyrese Halliburton's hands. I'm not that comfortable with TJ McConnell playing off of him. One, because he's not, when I go to the rim, is he going to knock down that open shot? And when I say open shot, where do we want him at? We want TJ McConnell at the long ball line. We want TJ McConnell 22 feet away from the basket. Mathurin is more apt to knock that down because he just did it not too long ago, and he's done it throughout the course of the playoffs. TJ is more in the 15 to 17-foot range, which we need, by the way, but we do need, I feel like, a little bit more spacing later on in the game. That 15 to 18-foot range, that's what's creating space. That shot is creating space to open up the game later on. So now you're cued in and you're keyed in on that. That's why SGA was able to get to the mid-range, because guys like Lou Dort, guys like Chet, guys like that will stretch in the defense. So once they stretch the defense, you open up the mid-range. Well, TJ McConnell's not stretching the defense like that. So we sitting on that mid-range, and you small too. And on top of you being small, I think that's where the issue is. I don't need both of you guys on the floor at the same time. I do need Mathurin. And if Mathurin was knocking down shots, it just looked so much better. Ox, I know how much you dig TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell reminds me of Bobby Hurley. I love him. He reminds me of Bobby Hurley. He's a guy who's getting downhill. He's a guy who will knock down an open shot. He's a guy who's going to compete on the defensive end. He's a guy who, if you open, I will find you. I promise you that. He's a disruptor. Everything about his game, I love that.
That's a good comparison. I wonder if people know how dope Bobby Hurley was.
They don't. They really don't. They that's who he reminds me of. He reminds me of Bobby Hurley, and I feel like you can find TJ McConnell is a guy who you can find space for him on the floor. You can find space for him in the rotation. He's got to play, no doubt about that. But when it comes to him and Mathurin, and we're at the end of games, or we're in the meat and potatoes of the game, Mathurin, I'm going to go with the bigger guy who I feel like can knock down an open shot, a little bit more athletic, can get to the rim, and a little bit better on defense, as opposed to TJ McConnell. That's not to take away anything from TJ McConnell, because he's going to force the action. He's going to force the issue. There's not a lot of guys, Ox, that's getting downhill like him in these playoffs. He definitely is going to do that.
And my thing too, and we don't have to go too back and forth on it, but just my thing with the TJ is I want thinkers in the game, in a close game. And I know it sounds like that in hindsight, and I wish I didn't have to say it in hindsight like this, but I don't think TJ makes those mistakes and misses those free throws. You know what I mean? And on top of that, I'm not mad at Tyrese Halliburton being off the ball in these certain situations, because I kind of they run this one where it's kind of like, how do they do it? It's so if TJ's off the ball and Tyrese is up here, I'm trying to remember how I ran it. TJ will come off the big, right, with the ball, and then Tyrese comes and gets the handoff or something, just kind of get it in motion. So it's something kind of like that.
So TJ is at the top of the key. He's got the ball. Halliburton is on the wing. If I'm not, I want to make sure I'm getting this right, Ox. So TJ's at the top. Halliburton's on the wing. The big fella Turner, he's in the mid post. While he's in the mid post, I got these two guys. I got both TJ. Those two guys are doing a dribble handoff where now Halliburton is getting the ball. Then right after that, I got a drag screen from Turner coming right behind him. When he comes right behind him, he uses that screen and he gets downhill. He'll find TJ, and if TJ isn't open, he'll find Mathurin in the corner. That's the kind of action that they run. It's good action.
They even got the one where the opposite guard just cuts off, like let's say TJ has the ball, he'll give it to Miles kind of at the nail. The opposite guard will just cut right through in between TJ and Miles, and then the TJ will come get the ball that way. Sure. So what I'm saying, it doesn't necessarily have to be TJ. What I'm saying is I kind of want Tyrese, if he's getting the ball with 8, 9, 10 seconds left on it, I want him getting it in motion. I don't want him getting the ball standing and then he's in ISO with Kaysen, Alex, SGA, Lou Dort. I don't want him having the ball isolation like that, matched up with one of those four guys looking eye to eye.
Especially in this defense, especially with that defense. To your point, especially against that, I don't want that defense loading up. I want the action to consistently be moving, because I want TJ moving quickly, because if Lou Dort is in front of him and he's able to stay in front of him and they've loaded up, and Alex Caruso is on one side, and not only Alex Caruso is on one side, then J-Dub is on the other side, that's a recipe for disaster. Right. But if we got action, it's something different. I can get that, sure.
That's my thing. That's why I'm kind of confused why people say they don't want Halliburton off the ball. I want Halliburton catching the ball in motion. I want Halliburton. So I know I've heard things that he can't catch and shoot. I don't believe that. You know what I'm saying? I'm fine. I'm okay with Halliburton catching the ball and shooting it. You know what I mean? So You know, there's a reason
Well,
TJ wasn't in the game. Rick Carlisle knows his team better than I do. So
that's what I was about to say, Ox. I think it's more situational because we've seen TJ and Halliburton play together, and it's been good. I'm not going to argue that point. We've seen these two guys play together, but to my original point, when I got a primary ball handler in Halliburton who's really good at getting downhill, at making plays, at getting to the rim, finding people, who's awesome at that. TJ is also good at that too. But when I got a guy who I can rely on in Matherin, or if I got a guy in Neesmith who can knock down an open shot and stretch that defense a little bit more, a little bit bigger, better matchup on defense, could speed up the game. Don't get me wrong. I feel like TJ, like I told you before, Ox, he plays bigger than what he is. No doubt about that. But with a guy like Neesmith, with a guy like Matherin, this is for offensive purposes. And a guy who can stretch the defense like that, I feel like they're more effective when we do that. And I got two primary ball handlers on the floor. I feel like for stretches, it could work. But when we get late in games like that where Dagnall is mixing up his lineup, I think that I'm going to go with Halliburton at the end of games as opposed to TJ McConnell.
Right. And also too with the, back to the OKC side, I think not only was Shai takeover and shooting, getting shots up, not only was that good, but I gotta commend Chet. I think Chet outplayed Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam in that fourth quarter. I mean, just by doing big man things, securing rebounds. You know what I mean? Like I think he was on the glass and he finished. You know what I'm saying? When he got the ball done, he finished not with trying to finish with dunks. Finish with being aggressive to the rim. And I know I say a lot of times about, I've seen Chet get pushed around, but that doesn't mean he's soft. And that's one thing I always say. What I like about Chet more than anything is just his mentality.
Sure.
You know what I mean? As far as like all the other stuff, I don't think Chet's as special as people say he is on just the ability. He does some great things. He can stretch it out. He can shoot the ball very well, put it on the ground very well. And so I don't want to knock Chet. What I'm saying is what I think is special about Chet is his mentality. You know what I'm saying? His mentality. And yes, Thunder, he was definitely fooled a lot last night. Yes, he was. But in that fourth quarter, he stepped up and he played big man basketball. He was protecting, he was finishing at the rim, he was rebounding. Got to commend him for that.
Well, 6 rebounds in the fourth quarter is a big deal, Ox.
He was on that glass.
and you know how I am. You know how I feel about the big. I love the guy, and anybody who knows me knows I love the big man. That's why Ox is my man, because he's a big fella. But with that being said, if I can't get you to do anything, I have to get you to do big man stuff. And what do big men do? If I'm going to be on the floor, I got to man the paint. I got to get on this glass. I got to block some shots. I got to rebound. I have to do big man things. I can't just be out here, because if I'm just out here, I'm just taking up space, and that's not helping my crew at all. And I feel like Chet, I didn't like what was going on early where they had him 23 feet away from the basket trying to get downhill. That wasn't working. I feel like when they got better in the game, where SGA started getting going, I feel like now that gave Chet a little bit more space closer to the basket, right around that mid-post, around that mid-range area where he can get shots there and get to the rim. And I feel like he was doing a much better job at that. And I think that goes back to what I talked about with Shai. Shai being able to get going, I think that energized all the rest of those guys, because now Chet got on the glass more. Chet's closeout was much better early. Chet's closeout was much better late in the game than it was early in the game. Him getting on the glass, him protecting the rim. Now, a lot of people think that protecting the rim just means blocking shots. No, you can get to the rim and I can thwart your shot. I can deter your shot. That doesn't necessarily mean I blocked it, but the resistance at the rim was a lot better from Chet last night than it's been in the past. And let's get to the bottom of something really quickly, Ox, because it drives me nuts. Okay, guys, just so you know, you can be an awesome defensive player and still be fooled. That can happen. I just want to make sure that we clear on that. You could be an awesome defensive. I watched David Robinson against Olajuwon in 1995. David Robinson was fooled. He couldn't do anything with Olajuwon. That doesn't mean that he's whack. That doesn't mean that Chet was whack. When they played against Minnesota in the playoffs, last round in the Western Conference Finals, I thought that if Anthony Edwards could get to the rim, I thought that Chet was fooled against him. I thought that he could finish against him with both hands. I thought that he could dunk on him like he had done in the past. I didn't think that they could have their way with him. I thought Anthony Edwards in particular That's who I thought he could handle him. So when I said that, of course it was taken, I think Chet is food all the way around. Well, if you think that, then bet. No problem.
Well, the thing about it is, and I've tried to explain this to these people for 3 weeks now, ever since the first time that came out your mouth, and I supported it, and the people lost their marbles, and Penn wouldn't let us get through the episode that day. It was a whole big thing. So I've been trying to explain this to him, but I'm starting to see that a lot of people in the chat, they're the type of people chill where if I let's say if I see you quite often, and you wear a red shirt one day, and then next week you wear another red shirt. These are the type of people that go like, chill, why you always wear red? You wear red all the time. Like, nah, I don't. You see me wear this red shirt twice this month. That doesn't mean I always wear red, So we got to learn how to compartmentalize these things sometimes, where it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, buffaloes get hunted. They don't just allow the lion to eat them. You know what I'm saying? They got horns. They fight back. But at the end of the day,
and by the way, Ox, buffalo get hunted by other people, other animals too, and it doesn't happen. Just so you know. They don't get eaten. They thwart them off. Get your ass out of here. I'm not food against you. No.
Right. Like a cheetah. Cheetahs ain't out here taking down water buffaloes.
No, that water buffalo, like, you better get your ass from around here before I stomp your head in. Not me. Now the lion, when the lion get with his crew, okay. But it's gonna take more than one of y'all to take me down. Don't think that it's just gonna be you. No.
Right. And that's okay, y'all. And that's okay. I think we gotta get past that. But I got another super chat from Abstract.
Yep.
Abstract. Okay. Nice. All right. Fine. Abstract says, here's what's blowing me. If Miles misses 3 threes in a row, why are you still shooting threes? Get in the post. Chet's a $150 and outworked him.
Because that's part of their offense.
Talk to him, Abstract.
That is part of their offense. And Miles Turner is a long ball shooter. But 2 things can be true. Like, because what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take away something that he can do, but also you, in the process of taking away something that he can do, enhancing something else. All right, well, he can shoot the long ball, but you can get on the box too. And I do think that he got missed a couple of times too last night, Ox, being on the box on mismatches. I saw Shai on him a couple times when he was asking for the ball. I saw Luke Dort on him a couple of times when he was asking for the ball and he got missed. And I'm thinking to myself, you got the big fella on the box, you can go to him. You got the big fella on the box, you can go to him. And when he's asking for the ball, to your point, and you've brought this up a lot of times and it's gone over people's head, how you ask for the ball is very important. Because if I'm on that wing and you asking for, you don't want the ball, so I'm going over. But if I see Big Ox sitting down and he's got that other big fella on and he's screaming at me, chill. Okay, come back over here, go to the big fella. He wants the ball and he wants to go to work. As opposed to you asking for it, but you're not really asking for it. As guards, we recognize when that big man is working. Right. We recognize 100% when that big guy is working. And I don't think that Indiana recognized that Miles was working on the box yesterday, and they could have got him the ball a little bit more down there. Because he was flashing in the middle of the lane. He had Luke Dort behind him 2 or 3 times where he flashed in the middle of the lane and asked for the ball, and they didn't get it to him. Not only did they not get it to him, I caught him on the right block when he had Luke Dort on him again, and he had Chet on him, and he's pushing him, and he's asking for the ball, and SGA goes to the rim. Not SGA, I'm sorry. Tyrese Halliburton goes to the rim. I'm thinking, get that big fella the ball. Get that big fella the damn ball.
Right. There was at one point last night, Chill, when me and you were going back and forth about Miles Turner, and I was like, Chill, he has to come out the game. And you were seeing something different and was like, no, he needs to be in. So I don't know. I think it's kind of touch and go with Miles Turner sometimes for me.
It was the big man stuff. He was doing it. It was the big guy stuff. He was doing it last night. That's why that's the main reason why I wanted him to stay out there, because he was doing the big man stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. Offensively, he could be a little bit challenged, and I think that's what your issue is with him. I don't think that you hate him defensively, and maybe you can straighten me out, but I don't think you hate him defensively. But I think that as an offensive player, I don't think that he throws his weight around enough for you. I don't think that he's aggressive enough.
It's a little bit of that, Chill, but honestly, like I was saying last night, it was the defense last night. I saw too many just uncontested layups. I saw him not hustling to get there to try to contest. I saw him not making extra efforts on defense, and that's what was really getting to me. My thing is, if that's the case, Miles, if you're knocking down those threes, I might be able to overlook some of this. You know what I mean? If you're attacking Chet and putting your shoulder in his chest and going up strong against the free throw line or finishing, I might be able to overlook some of this. But he wasn't necessarily rebounding a lot, and the lack of rim protection I was seeing, that's what was getting to me. And so I was like, if you're not going to protect the rim, I might as well have Obi in here and Obi and Pascal to speed up the game and get dunks and get to the rim, get layups. That was my only thought process. Well, if you're not going to do this, I might as well have him in the game. And that was my only thing. But chill, I want to talk about something real quick that we've talked about before, and it came up a lot this week about fatigue. I thought the Thunder, I thought they looked tired and not winded, but looked tired in the first three quarters. Pretty much the whole game. I do think they stepped up that defense, and SGA kind of carried the offensive load, and Chet was a monster on the glass. But I still think they looked a little fatigued, more so than Indiana Pacers. DeMar DeRozan was talking about him and taking care of his body and how he's never drinks. He hasn't ever had a drink, and how he came into the league and he was icing because he saw the vets doing it and they were telling him you should do it before you need to, and just things like that, just taking care of your body. Shit, what do you think about that as far as being fatigued at this point? Because you're going to be tired, right? Like, this is the NBA Finals. You played over 100 games at this point, so you're going to be tired. What do you think about that, and just what DeMar DeRozan was saying about, just taking care of yourself?
You had brought up something. You had brought up something that I thought was really interesting, and this is also another thing that we didn't talk about that went a lot over the guys' heads, where you said, as young fellas, get off your feet. And I think that a lot of people don't understand what you mean when you say get off your feet. As a young guy, you think you're going to be like this forever. You 22, you 23 years old. You think you're going to feel like this forever, not realizing that you're not going to be 22, 23. You're going to get older. Things are going to start to hurt more. So you got to do a better job in taking care of your body. One of the things that's the most important, that's really important in taking care of your body, is rest. Getting off your feet, not doing anything, not going anywhere, just laying down and relaxing. And at this time of year, sure, you may feel energized because you're 22, you're 23 years old. Let's remember, Ox, this Oklahoma City team, let's see, Cason Wallace, year 2, Chet, year 2, Jalen Williams, year 3. We got some young guys on this crew that's in our core that still look at being young like, yo, I'm still fresh, when in reality, the only way that I'm going to stay this way is I got to take care of my body. Rest, icing, that stuff is extremely important. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying in the room. I'm not going out tonight. Not only am I not going out, I'm not going anywhere in the house. I got to put my feet up. I'm going to take care of my body. One of my best friend to this day, he told me Clyde Drexler showed him how to take care of his body. He said he needed one more season. He said had he had Clyde Drexler for one more year, he would have played 12 years in the NBA. But he only had him for one season. But he showed him how to eat. He showed him how to take care of his body. He showed him how to ice. He showed him how to your point, Ox, how to stay off your feet. I mean, it's okay to move around a little bit, but it's important to get your rest. It's important to get naps. And a guy like DeMar DeRozan, I mean, I think he showed up in 2009. We're in year 17. Right? Yeah. There's a reason why you're able to last for as long as you are, because you have to take care of your body. And when we get to the NBA Finals, this is the deepest you're going to go in the season, right? There's only 3 more games left in the NBA season. That's it. And you have to be prepared to do that. Even if you're 22, 23 years old, just showing up, that's not good enough. Or just stretching, that's not good enough. You have to be able to take care of your body. Ice baths, massages, staying off your feet. Things like that are going to be very important. That's why guys like SGA, that's why guys like SGA, you saw what you saw at the end of the game physically. Mentally, it's also that, because when we get late in the season, you know how to play basketball, Ox. It's not like it's a situation we get late in the season where you just forget how to play basketball. No, it's just there's more at stake. So mentally, you have to be more focused. So you got to get that mental rest too. Well, that doesn't mean that I'm just thinking about basketball all day long. No, I do need to take myself away from this, but I also need to get off my feet to do that and relax. And I feel like DeMar DeRozan, he's an example of that. Steph Curry is an example of that. James is an example of that. All of these guys are examples of what's necessary in order to prolong your career, to stay as fresh as you possibly can, both physically and mentally. And DeMar DeRozan has done a great job at that.
Yeah. Another thing too, I think people don't really think about is your feet. Chill, how are your feet, Chill? Just
I broke my feet are good. My feet are good, to answer your question. Sure.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, people, you gotta take your shoes off. You know what I mean? Like you gotta take those, get out of those basketball shoes, put your slides on. Chill, I wear a lot of slides, I wear a lot of Birkenstocks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I gotta I try to be barefoot and put on Birkenstocks and slides like that as much as possible. You know what I mean? Like I got tons of sneakers, but I try to let my toes spread out and just because it's you got basketball shoes on for 2 decades, like a guy like DeMar DeRozan, and that's just in the NBA. What about at USC? What about AAU? What about high school? You know what I mean? You have basketball shoes on that much, you're running. You need to let your feet rest, let your feet spread out, your toes spread, and just take care of your feet, stretch, all types of things. Just and a lot of youngsters don't know that, Chill, because they don't feel it. You know what I mean? And then you turn 33, 34, 35, 36, whatever the age, 37, whatever it may be. And then one day you get up, you're like, whoa, what was that? What is this? Like that's
why does
called
this
wear
hurt?
and tear.
Yeah, why does this hurt like this?
Chill, I've gotten up and like got out of bed like, whoa, my ankle. Well, I didn't even do nothing. Like, what's happening? But it's just that's wear and tear, and that's what I want. I think youngsters need to pay attention to that while you're young. Drink water, all that type of stuff, because once you get too far, if you haven't started to take care of your body, it's hard to bounce back.
Well, you get to that point. James Harden is an example of that, where you try to take care of your body later on, and you end up seeing what happens where, we get late in the season and you start to break down. Well, if this was something that you were doing right from the beginning, then you wouldn't have that problem. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of guys who are just susceptible to injury, and there's really not much you can do. But I can prevent it as much as possible if I'm taking care of my body. I mean, I remember Karl Malone talked about how Adrian Dantley taught him how to be a pro. And he said, one of the things that he taught me how to do was take care of my body. Make sure that you icing. Make sure you get ice. Make sure you stay off your feet. Make sure that you're getting massages. Make sure that you're taking care of your body. That way, once it's time to rock, you are prepared. And these are the guys who last for as long as they do. That's why DeMar DeRozan has been in the league for 17 years. That's why Karl Malone played 20 years. That's why Adrian Dantley played 15 years in the NBA. Like it's something that's necessary. In this NBA, this Indiana team is a team of vets. Don't get me wrong. You had a guy in SGA who was just better at the end, but you got a team of vets who do know how to take care of their bodies, who do know how to stay off their feet. To your point, Ox, they don't look tired to me. They look like a very well-conditioned unit. Very well-conditioned unit.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Let me see. Oh, okay, I'll come back to you. We'll start with. We're going to the lobby now, y'all. Let me start. We do got a couple more topics we're going to get into later, but let's jump into the lobby. I got Average Joe. What's up, Average Joe?
What's good, Ox? What's good,
What's up,
OG
brother?
Chill? All right, so you wanted me to come on talking about TJ McConnell as a non-spacer.
Yeah. I was curious about what you meant by
that.
All
right. So when you have TJ, first of all, he's not a catch and shoot guy from the 3-ball. So when you see him shoot that 3-ball, he got to load up. That allows, if SGA is probably going to be guarding him, right? So sure. SGA defensively, he's best when he's off ball, being in the passing lanes, watching things, cleaning stuff up. So now you get SGA being able to cheat on Halliburton. He can get back out to TJ McConnell, and now you're at the end of possession with TJ McConnell trying to get a shot off at the end of the game. That's not the offense you necessarily want. So if TJ McConnell's out there also, who are you taking off the court? Nembhard has to be out there to be on SGA, right? You're not going to take out Nesmith because he's your best catch and shoot guy, and he's also your second best, perimeter defender. Actually, you can argue it's him and Nembhard are your two best perimeter defenders. So who are you taking off the court to put TJ out there with Hallie? There's no good option, to be honest.
And I just, again, I feel like I got two guys who do something similar.
They do the same thing.
And I got one guy who does it better. So I don't need both of you guys out there.
Exactly.
And you two guys can be out there for stretches. I'm not going to argue that point. I definitely think that you two guys are going to be out there for stretches. However, when we get late in the game and we got a nip-tuck game, Who do I want on the floor more than the other? And remember, Average Joe, Ox is a TJ McConnell guy. He loves TJ McConnell. Not that
I'm a TJ McConnell guy too.
I dig TJ McConnell too, but I feel like Halliburton is a little bit more effective as a lead guard. These two guys can play together, but when I'm getting late in the game and I need somebody to stretch the defense and a little bit better defender, I have to go in the other direction.
And another thing that happens late in the game, I don't know why it happens in NBA games. We've seen it for years. For whatever reason, you don't run your offense anymore. It becomes, you know what, my best player needs to make plays. So during the course of the game,
away from that. I never understood that. Like you stop running our action late in games.
Exactly.
Why are we not still doing that? I don't get that.
It's almost like it becomes late in the game. Teams overthink. We need to get a good shot with our best player, and it becomes really hero ball like. But yeah, you don't run your actions anymore. It's just pick and roll with my best guy, and we're gonna figure it out.
Which is crazy too, Average, because I vividly remember hearing people say to me consistently, "Chill, we done with the '90s, right?" But like the triangle, they kept running the triangle all game. The Lakers, when they were winning the NBA championship with Bryant after Shaq left, with Gasol, they still running the triangle the entire night. They stay in their action. They don't come away from it because this is what's going to keep the defense off balance. But good to talk to you, brother. We appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good.
All right, Average Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean those are good points. I do understand those things and I agree with it. I just, I still
TJ McConnell's your guy, Ox. Let's cut the shit. He's your guy. You want him on the floor. I get it.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's pretty much the bottom line. Yeah,
let's call it what it is. He's your guy. You want him on the floor.
Right. Let's get to real talk. What's up, real talk? What's up with you?
What's up, man? What's up, man?
And the congregation says, amen.
Best show on the platform. How y'all doing this morning?
What up? What up?
Good.
I wanted to talk about, well, first off, I actually agree with you, Ox. I do think that TJ McConnell should close with Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's more of a downhill threat. I think he gets 2 feet in the paint more than Tyrese Halliburton. I also think that he can take advantage of a few matchups out there. I like him one-on-one against Shai, especially if there's not going to be a lot of backline help. And then I also just looked at it. Tyrese Halliburton is shooting basically 41% on catch and shoot threes during the playoffs, but he's only shooting around 32% on pull-up threes, which, you know what I'm saying, a lot of those step backs against those, that means, that's a low percentage shot. So, I mean, he hits them from time to time, but, I do like the thought process of TJ collapsing defenses, kicking it out, getting the defensive rotation, and making it easier for Tyrese Halliburton and close.
And with that being said, because that's a fair point, Tyrese Halliburton, I want the ball in his hands, making plays for other people. I want him making plays for Mathurin. I want him making plays for Turner. I want him making plays for these other guys. Plus, I also want to speed the game up. I want the game fast. Even if we get late in the game, like we're not going to stop running, right? We're going to keep doing what we do. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that TJ McConnell is going to put the ball on the floor. He's going to put his head down, and he's going to get to the rim. Well, Tyrese Halliburton, he can also do that too. That's why he's a starting lead guard. And I'm also interested more in his ability to make plays for other guys in terms of passing, in terms of getting open, in terms of getting guys open, whether it's around the rim. I think he's better than TJ McConnell at that. Now, you got bonehead plays you got bonehead games. Let's call it what it was. It was a bonehead game for Mathurin. You got bonehead games like what Mathurin did last night. But for the most part, I think Mathurin has been solid. He's a guy who he's ready to shoot the basketball. He's ready to finish around the rim. When the game is fast, Obi Toppin is stopping at the long ball line. He's ready to stop and pop. I think if I got TJ McConnell on the floor, I feel like I'm much more effective, especially late in games. I feel like I'm much more effective with Tyrese Halliburton than I am with TJ McConnell, both of those guys.
What else you have for us, bro? Talk besides that.
Also, I wanted to point out how it was 2 things. I think one of the more important things about yesterday's game was Jalen Williams in the first quarter. I was looking back. It felt like, to me, a lot of this game, it felt like OKC was like surviving, like not, you know what I'm saying? Like it felt like
Indiana brought the fight to them, and they was just like,
Indiana was up much more than what the scoreboard said. Like they were very much outplaying OKC, And in that first quarter, both teams scored. I think the first quarter was like 35-34. But SGA didn't come out making, shooting the ball well. But Jalen Williams had 12 points. And he got to the free throw line 6 times and converted on all 6. I think him just scoring those points and keeping pace with the Pacers, because the Pacers came out with a haymaker in that first quarter. The offense was clicking. They hit like 55% of their shots. They hit 50% of their threes. And usually, if Indiana takes off like that and your star player isn't playing well, now they just jumped out to a 10, 12-point lead. Now that crowd is involved. And things can tumble after that. But the fact that Jalen Williams was able to keep OKC afloat, along with Alex Caruso, who was phenomenal last night for
Alex
OKC.
Caruso was balling
and he
last
had
night.
7 points in the first as well. I think those 2 players kept OKC afloat, and then SGA was able to take it home in the fourth. And I think one thing that they did late also is just getting Andrew Nembhard off of SGA. Like they went Chill, you know how Boston a lot of times late in the game, you know what they're going to go to. Derek White with the ball, Jason Tatum coming to set a screen, trying to get a switch.
Right at the top.
And that's basically, that's basically what OKC did with Jalen Williams and Shai, because they were getting Andrew Nembhard off of Shai because they liked Aaron Nesmith guarding Shai. So then they got the switch. Shai would get the ball, ISO against Nesmith, and they found a lot of success to close out the game. Like,
was there a stretch? This is a 2-part question, Real. Was there a stretch? Because I want to keep this thing rolling. Was there a stretch where you felt like Indiana had control of this game, and was there a stretch when you felt like they lost control of the game?
I feel like they controlled the game for majority of the game. Like I said, I don't think, if I was to pinpoint a moment where they kind of lost the rope, was just late in that fourth. Usually they're a good fourth quarter execution team.
Sure.
But OKC switching all the actions, and then Tyrese not being able to convert.
And Benny.
Yeah,
Benny. Don't leave Benny out.
You definitely can't leave out Benedict Mathurin in the stretch of basketball that he had. But I don't think they really lost control, like just let go of the rope completely. I just felt like OKC did enough to keep it close, and then they had an all-time great guard have an all-time great performance to close it out. But just because you lose doesn't necessarily mean you play a terrible game. You know, they just
right, and just but real talk, see, and just because you win doesn't mean you play a great game. Because I keep seeing seeing people say, "Oh, this person didn't have any assists. They had this many total assists, or they played this, they played that." It's the playoffs. Okay,
it is.
They won the basketball game, and at the end of the day, that's what's important. You know what I mean? So I've been struggling with that a lot these playoffs, y'all. I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm right about it, but I'm struggling.
Last I checked, Doc, and I've been watching NBA for a long time. I have yet to hear David Stern come up to the podium and say, "Congratulations, barely NBA champions." I have yet to hear him say that. And I have not heard him say that ever.
I think even, and I know, and I'm not trying to down us, because this is what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're here to talk hoop, right? But I just want the hoopers to not worry about
the yapping, the talkers. Don't worry about the dude on the sideline. Don't worry about him. Do your thing.
Well, I'm not, and I don't want to say yap, chill, because we're not hecklers. You know what I'm saying? We're not people in the fans like, oh, boo. No, we're just breaking down what we saw in the basketball game. Yep. And so, of course, we have to talk about the fact that, Shai didn't have no assists. He wasn't kicking. But Shai don't need to worry about that. Shai need to keep trying to win basketball games. You know what I'm saying? This I don't think the talk that I do for the basketball, I'm not doing this for the NBA players. Like, I don't give a damn if Kevin Durant listens to me, or if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander ever hears anything I ever say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not doing this to talk to NBA players. You know what I'm saying? I don't want y'all to worry about me. You're not supposed to care how I feel about your basketball game. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to keep playing ball. This is more so for the viewers, so that we can have more hoop to talk about, so that we can talk about the game we love. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I like to do. Shai, damn them assists. You know what I'm saying? Win the basketball game. That's your job. Absolutely. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care too much about the other stuff. I care about it. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter.
You shouldn't care about it as much.
It doesn't matter, man. This is playoff basketball. You need to win the basketball game.
Do your thing.
Yeah. If people are going to harp on his assists, this is my last one before I get about it. People are going to harp about his assists, but OKC made what 3 threes last night.
The whole game.
Like if
I didn't
you,
even know
I
they made
mean,
that many.
I don't exactly like if you kicking the ball out and ain't nobody making a shot, you ain't gonna get an assist. So he saw
Wait.
that and he said, "I'm gonna shoot
Real
the ball
talk.
every time."
It was
Three
total
for
threes
3
made.
for 16.
3
Nah,
total.
That's it. 3 for
See,
16.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. You know
They
what I'm
made
saying?
it. They won
I
the game
love
making
that.
3 threes. Yeah,
That was it.
I
beat
love
3
that.
of them.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if y'all remember we had a game earlier this season, right? Was it Charlotte versus Chicago?
Yes.
What were they
Twice,
missed?
by the way.
What they missed a total of like 75 threes or something
No,
like that? It was
almost
crazy.
100. They shot 100.
Yeah, but then they missed like
of them.
80 of them.
Yes. Get these dudes off the floor. Ox. Get these
That's
dudes.
beautiful. Winning a playoff basketball game, a must-win playoff basketball game that you won making 3 threes. I love that for basketball. I love that for basketball.
That's good for basketball.
But
Good to talk to you,
real
Real.
talk,
We know where to find you at.
All
brother.
right, y'all.
Absolutely, my man. Good to talk to you. 3 threes, Ox. That's it. That's all you getting. Nah, and we still won.
That's great.
And we still won. We'll take it. 100%. We will take it.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Chill. That's the best thing I've heard all week.
Yeah, man.
That's
3
the
of
best
them.
thing I've
That's
heard
it.
all week.
3 threes.
We still in the lobby, y'all. I'm about to keep bringing y'all up. Don't trip, don't leave. I just want to talk about something with you real quick, Chill.
Yep.
Last week, well, you know what? We'll get to that in a minute. I want to talk about something else because I keep seeing Scott Foster's name in the comments. I keep seeing that this ref did this ref did that. And I've seen games where refs have definitely put their fingerprints on the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
But D'Angelo Russell was talking about Steph Curry.
Mm-hmm.
And that when Steph Curry plays, he's not playing for the refs. He's not he doesn't care about the reffing. You're not going to see Steph doing too much crying to the refs, begging for calls. He's just going to play his game. He said that's why he's my favorite player. Chill, what do you think about that? And does that at all ever affect how you look at a player, whether or not they're complaining or what?
I don't. And the reason why is because I love players who my game isn't predicated on you as an official. My game is predicated on flight, athleticism. My game is predicated on spots. You as an official don't affect that. I affect that. I affect the spots that I get to. I affect how I run in transition. I affect how I get to the rim. I affect all of this stuff. Now, sure, you're going to blow the whistle and sure, I'm going to get fouled, but that's not my game. And Steph Curry is one of those players who my game is not affected. That's why he doesn't get to the free throw line as much, because my game isn't affected by the officials. My game is a lot of off-ball action, a lot of movement, a lot of open shots because of the way our offense is ran. And yes, I do get roughed up a little bit. Guys will put hands on me. Guys will grab. Yeah, but that doesn't affect my game. That doesn't affect my shot. Now, if you're pushing me down when I'm shooting, that's a foul. Now, if you're literally holding me and not allowing me, like as a wide receiver who after 5 yards, you got to get off me and let me run my route. If you literally are restricting me from doing that, that's something different. Steph Curry, he doesn't rely on the officials to get to where he needs to go. He doesn't rely on the officials for his shot to come off. And I dig players like that. I've always dug players who my game isn't predicated on you blowing the whistle. I don't care about that. What I care about is how I get to the spaces that I can get to. Not only how I can get to the spaces that I can get to, how I can play through contact, whether it's minimal or maximum, how I can play through contact, and how I can be as effective as I can possibly be out here. And Steph Curry is one of those guys. I love guys like that. I love that.
Yes, definitely. Shout out to Steph for not being a crybaby.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to the lobby. Let me see who we got. Let me get 2 cents up here. 2 cents, what's up? I know I missed you last week, brother. How you doing?
No. Nah, what's good? Yeah, let me touch on a couple of points that y'all already made. Of course, even if you're a great defender, like y'all said, you can be fooled. That was a great point because it's some good defenders that's played in the NBA. Bro, I've seen them get cooked before. And they check sometimes, yeah, he is fooled. He's fooled too when he's getting cooked that particular day. But you got to remember, this dude is still like 7 foot, 7'1" or something like that. So, bro, he ain't blocking every shot. He's not Dikembe Mutombo, but trust me, he's altering people's layups and all that. And you thinking about you could have went all the way to the basket, but you saw Chet with them long arms, so he can alter the game. Now that part of it, I like that point that y'all did bring up.
You brought up a real interesting point about being fooled. Andre Karolinko is one of the better defenders that I've seen in my lifetime. He said that he had hell with Tracy McGrady. So playing up against Tracy McGrady, would that not make Andre Karolinko fooled? He was fooled against him. As good as Andre Karolinko is as a defender, he fooled against McGrady. He was like, I did everything I could to deal with him. I couldn't stop him. So McGrady was probably looking at him like, this dude can't cover me. He fooled.
Yeah, great offensive players, man. They look at I don't care if they 6 foot or they 7 foot. They look at somebody guarding them as food. Even Caruso, I ain't even call him good no more. He's a great defender. He is great. But at the end of the day, I watched the game. Man, they be cooking him. And they be blowing by him. But he does his best with his talent and everything. So I do. Yeah, I mean, he's at the top. He's in the elite area. Rudy Gobert, he was a 4-time defensive player of the year. Man, he becomes unplayable because simple. It doesn't mean he can't play defense at all. Yep. But we know they put him out there, they cook him. That happens, man. I don't understand that. If you play basketball, you know how it is. Play King of the Hill with somebody. Man, everybody can get this work. Everybody. That at the end of the day.
Michael Beasley proved that.
Yeah. And let me touch on that TJ thing before I get out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My dude is actually balling. It's the same way I think about people like Crawford, Lou Will, Ginobili. Those guys are capable of starting and this, that, and other. I think the only reason why the Pacers are really still in this game, this series like this, is because they're out coaching OKC.
Carlisle's doing a great job.
Oh my God, bro! This might be, especially if he win this, man. The way that he's out coaching, I don't care even if I have the best players. If you play them incorrectly, you can have the best prize horse. If you don't do certain things properly at the right time, it'd be like substitutions and all that stuff like that. I think that the Pacers are out coaching them. They're just doing the best with what they got. I have never said the Pacers woke up and said, yeah, the Pacers better than OKC. Look, they won this game. No, I ain't never said that. But at the end of the day, they made it a good series, and that's all we love.
Yep, that's a fact.
I appreciate y'all, bro.
Good to talk to you, too. Good to talk to you, brother. Yep. That's what we want, though, Ox, right? Don't we want good basketball?
That's it. I don't got a horse in this race. I'm begging for a 7-game series.
Yeah, I don't have a horse in this race. We're getting at least 6. That's what we get.
Yeah.
We're getting at least 6. So
no doubt. Eric Espinoza sent through a super chat and said, salute to you fellas for the great content as always while I'm working my delivery route. Thank y'all.
We're here for you, Eric. Like specifically for people like you. That's what we're here for. On a Saturday, you working, you're trying to buy some time, you're trying to get what you need to get done. We here specifically for people like you. That's what we here for.
No doubt. Appreciate you, Eric Espinoza.
Absolutely, brother.
Through that super chat, and you make sure you drive safe out there, brother.
Please do that because I need my bed frame. Please, thank you very much. I need it. Thank you very much, my man. Thank you.
Let me get to somebody else that I did accidentally miss last week. We got a Johnny the Exposer. What?
Let me put my clothes on because
Johnny, you here?
Yeah, he here.
Peace and blessings. What's good, brothers? Peace and blessings. What's good, man?
Let me get my cover because I don't want to get exposed. I don't want somebody lifting the curtain up on me.
You all right, man? Like I always tell everybody, man, if you talk basketball, it's a win-win for all of us. If you don't talk basketball, you get exposed. That's all it's about.
You don't know what you're talking about.
We talk basketball whenever Chill and Ox is in the building. Shout out to you fellas, man. What's good, man?
Sir.
But I gotta harken on something. Y'all gonna leave my Haitian brother alone, okay? They should have put him in the game earlier in the fourth quarter, not wait till Naismith fouls out, then tell him, hey, take off your jumpsuit. Let's go. We need you. Because at the end, he wasn't really expecting to come back in the game. They were gonna run with Naismith. But like you said, Turner and Naismith, they just played horrible. Not just missing shots, those fouls that they were doing, silly fouls. Like you said, loose ball fouls that weren't even with the man with the ball, like you said, or just a lot of silly stuff. And the Scott Foster thing is kind of true, chill, man. We got it. I mean, let's keep it real. When Scott Foster referees a game, there's 3 teams playing. The 2 teams versus each other and Scott Foster. It's not the cause. It's slowing the pace of the game down by holding the ball on the inbounds and talking to the scorekeeper about the shot clock. Like, he does little things like that all the time, chill. And it kind of slows the momentum down of the game. He just a good referee game. We shouldn't notice the referees.
It's important to make sure the shot clock is correct.
100%. No doubt about that, Ox. But here's the difference, though. But the difference with him, though, Ox, is let them involve you in the game. You don't have to involve yourself in the game. They're going to involve you in the game, Scott. Nobody came here to see you, brother. Nobody.
I think y'all are really unfair with refs in that. When y'all say that y'all not a part of the game, when they are, in fact, a huge part of the game.
I know that.
And I'm not arguing that point, Ox.
When you do your job correctly,
let these dudes involve you in it.
When you do your job correctly as a ref, you're invisible. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like in the Matrix, right? When the program is doing its job, you never notice it. When the program ain't doing its job, it's a werewolf, it's a vampire, it's some extraordinary stuff. That's what we get with a Scott Foster game. And mind you, both teams went to the free throw line 70 times together. What's up with 70? It was 38 for OKC and like 30 something for the Indiana Pacers.
So they shot 38. Oklahoma City shot 38 free throws yesterday, and let's see, Indiana shot 33. Yeah, they shot 33 free throws yesterday.
That's
71 free throws.
34 points off the free throw line, fellas. That was kind of like, again, I'm not saying they didn't make bad calls or good calls. I'm just saying he just muffed up the momentum, the energy by certain shot clocks just stopping it. Or, and we were wondering why are we doing him. He want to stop the game. He's supposed to give him the ball on the inbound, but he's walking to go talk to the players and tell them, hey, you guys can't be doing this. Come on, man, we're in the game. They've been playing. Nobody's been complaining about the refs.
Now we can wait a minute, Jay. We can talk about I can get with 2 players and go like, listen, I don't have no problems out here except you 2. So you 2 knock it off. I can do that. But I don't have to do that with everybody. Like if there's some yapping, if there's some talking going on between 2 guys, and I know that's all it is, leave it there. You can let them 2 dudes talk. No. But if I see something that's turning into something, yes, I got to get involved in that. Because the last thing I want is to get my game out of control. Scott Foster, he does involve himself unnecessarily a lot of times, though.
Yeah. So, and with that being said, Scott Foster's stats were 22 foul calls, 2 technical calls, and 2 flagrant foul calls, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Scott.
Get Scott.
See y'all boys on Monday. Peace and
blessings.
All right, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's
great. That's great. Chill. Apparently, there's rumblings that some teams don't know how many years KD has left in the tank, so they may not be willing to throw a bag at Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix is not in the catbird seat. All of these other teams that are trading for KD, they're the ones in the catbird seat. Number one, because of KD's age. Like if KD was younger, if we had a 29-year-old KD, 28-year-old KD on the last year's deal, he still got some years left. KD would be 37 on opening night. So how many more years is KD going to be at this level? I had a conversation just yesterday with a buddy of mine. He thinks KD is going to play 6 more years. He thinks that he's going to play at this level for 2 more years. I don't think he's playing that much longer, Ox. And the reason why I don't feel like he's playing that much longer, because KD is a baller. What I mean when I say that is KD is not going to cheat the game. I wouldn't be surprised in 2 or 3 years, or I'm sorry, in 4 or 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised to look up and see KD at a park somewhere getting a run in. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw KD on a Tuesday night in a men's league just getting a run in, because KD is not going to cheat the game. When I can't do what I used to be able to do, I'm not just going to be here collecting a check. That's not what I'm not going to do that. I got too much respect for the game. I've done too much in the game that if I can't score at will like I used to, if I can't get to the spaces that I used to be able to get to, I'm not going to do that. So teams are not really interested in investing. Teams are not really interested in investing a whole lot off the strength that KD is 37 years old. How many more years is this guy going to play at this level? And what am I risking? Right? What am I risking with my crew to get him? Because I can tell you right now, if I'm getting him, I'm doing it to win it. I'm not doing it just to sell tickets. I'm doing it because I think we're trying to win it. And if we're not, then why am I doing it for a 37-year-old who, by the way, this is the last year of his contract? So he's off my books after this. So what am I interested in giving up for him?
Yeah,
I don't get it.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. The Spurs, I understand KD not having much. If you think he doesn't have 4 or 5 years left, I don't think he does either. I think he has 2, maybe 3. But that 14 pick is up for grabs. If Phoenix, if y'all want it, please come get it. You know, I don't know about that number 2 pick for KD. The number 2 can go for Giannis, but not for KD. And you know what, Chill? The 14. Yeah, the 14. I'm going to stick with that. The 14 can go for KD, and you can have Keldon and somebody else. But, you know, I think
you're putting a lot on it.
Right. For Giannis, though, for Giannis, that number 2 can be gone yesterday.
Yeah.
But for KD, I think that 14, maybe another future pick, Keldon Johnson and Harrison Barnes, Shai. I don't know. But
well, I've said to you already, Ox. I mean, if you've given up the number 2 pick for KD, what you're doing is you telling us that you think that the number 2 pick you don't think he's ever going to be as good as KD is right now. I don't think that's what they're saying, Chill. I think that's saying that Victor Wembanyama is good enough, and he will be good enough this season to be a championship level player. I think that's also saying that Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, and De'Aaron Fox is a good enough three-headed monster in your backcourt to win or to make a strong push with Kevin Durant. I don't think that's saying that, let's say, Ace Bailey will never be as good as KD is right now. And honestly, Chill, I don't know if he ever will be. You know, like now that you're bringing that to light, I don't know if he ever will be. I don't know if any of these kids will ever be as good as Kevin Durant is today, because Kevin Durant is still playing good basketball. Not as an all-time great, just today.
Yeah. As what he was, no, I don't think anybody in this draft. I don't think there's not a soul in this draft, including Cooper Flag, that will ever be as good as Pete Kevin Durant. I can stand on that. Never. But I don't think that's what that's saying, and I don't even think that matters so much, Chill. I've said this already. I think the NBA is wide open. And that's why I think these teams that have these high draft picks, if you got potential, let them go, because you can win right now. Yeah. I think the NBA is wide open.
You're pulling me more to that side, Ox. Even though you know how I feel about building units and make. We live like Ox. We looking at, let's just say for the sake of argument, Indiana wins the championship this year, right? Do you have them winning it again next year?
Probably not, no.
So that means that we're looking at the 8th different champion. So if you a team that's close, why wouldn't you go, I'm taking this guy or I'm taking that guy? Why wouldn't you do that?
Sure, I'll give you 4 teams right now: Orlando, Detroit, San Antonio, and Houston. Those are the 4 teams right now where if you can make a splash, you make it.
Yeah.
Because I think they've already done their due diligence as far as building their team. I would even say the Raptors. Thanks, Kyle, in the chat. I would say the Raptors too. Little less the Raptors, but I'm going to say them too. If you have an opportunity to go get Giannis, to go get Kevin Durant, to go make a splash, I say you do it. I think those teams, those 4, I'm going to leave the Raptors out of this for a second. I think those 4, I'm bringing the Raptors back in it because I like B.I. I like Scotty. I like them. I'm going to keep them in this. I think those 5 teams, Chill, if you can make a push, you do it. Don't keep thinking about 5 years from now. The Spurs, we don't know what. I hope you stay blessed and stay healthy, Wemby. I hope you're okay with the blood clot situation and everything. But I don't know where Victor Wembanyama is going to be in 5 years, Chill.
So we got to do this right now.
So let's go.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, you want to play ball? Come on. Damn that 14 pick. I don't care who that kid's going to be. Come on, we want to. And also, Chill, I like to keep my eyes on my yard. I like to water my grass. If you go over there and play great, I don't feel like I lost. I'm happy for you.
Sure.
I'm worried about what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So
what else can you do though, Ox? To your point, I mean, I can't worry about what's going on in your yard. I gotta maintain my yard. That's
come
a fact.
on, man.
Absolutely.
Go get San Antonio. Go get Kevin Durant. You don't need 4 seasons from him. You need 2. You need 2. Go get KD. You know what, though, Chill? Another thing before I get back to the lobby, though. You know what I think, Chill, about the Kevin Durant, how you were saying he'll be playing ball at the park or in the men's league and stuff like that, Chill? That those rumblings about Russell Westbrook getting a huge contract in the EuroLeague, Kevin Durant. Not this year, but I
wouldn't be surprised if KD went over to Europe and played. That would not surprise me at all. No.
Well, I think that's the type of thing that's for guys like KD and Russ. I think Russ is a hooper as well. But let's get back to the lobby. Let me get my man Leaf Dickey up here. What's up, Leaf?
Yo, what's going on? Y'all get me?
Yep.
Yeah. Listen about the San Antonio situation. Bobby, if everything that you're saying about Victor Wembanyama in the next 5 years is correct, I think the best option for them is Giannis.
Well, I didn't say anything about Victor Wembanyama. I just said you never know. So
I'm just staying on that point. If you don't know what Victor Wembanyama is going to be in the next 5 years, to me the best option for them right now is Giannis.
Lee, stop this Giannis shit. Adam Silver is not letting Giannis go to the Western Conference. He's not. Stop this shit, yo. Okay.
Adam Silver is not letting Giannis go to the Western Conference.
So what are we left with? Giannis goes to the Western Conference. No Jason Tatum in the East. What are we left with in the Eastern Conference? Donovan Mitchell, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, no Damian Lillard, Joel Embiid. That's what we left with in the East. No.
I understand that, but here's the thing. There's a draft coming up, as you know, and it's a pretty good draft. And the next year's draft is going to be pretty okay as well. I'm looking for the ascendance of players like Cade Cunningham, or the ascendance of players like Paolo Banchero. They are someday going to be the top 2 or 3 best players in the Eastern Conference if they're not top 5 or top 10 right now. So I'm not necessarily looking forward to it. Now. I know what you getting at, and not saying like, yo, they not letting them. Adam Silver's not letting this happen, bro. Adam Silver let Luka go to the Lakers. Shit, I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, and you got a couple of ratings out of that. I mean, why are you giving the San Antonio picks, the San Antonio Spurs, all of these draft picks if clearly looking to up Victor Wembanyama, bro? Like, you clearly looking to push Wemby to the playoffs. We clearly know what you're doing. So I'm in terms of Giannis not going to the Western Conference, I'm not necessarily on board with that. I think if you're San Antonio, you have the pieces, you have the draft capital that the Milwaukee Bucks want to restart, and make this deal happen to me. But to get onto the game, our last series, I talked about the war of attrition that the Indiana Pacers was winning. You remember that conversation? It wasn't necessarily a war in the Eastern Conference Finals. That shit was more of a lap. That shit was more of a one-man marathon because they was playing the Knicks. This series they playing a team that you can't have empty possessions against, especially in the fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, OKC, I thought they played well defensively. In terms of how they switched everything, and they met the ball handlers at the half court scene and everything. They were in passing lanes. They were making everything difficult. I don't know if Tyrese Halliburton was distracted by the words that Stephen A. Smith was saying on the show on ESPN. But what happened in those last closing minutes was absolutely despicable. Absolutely 100% despicable. Giving up 6 rebounds to Chet Holmgren. And I'm gonna talk about Chet Holmgren and that defender shit that you was talking about. 6 rebounds in a quarter. When y'all was doing a good job on the boards as a game rebound team the entire game up until that point. That's despicable. You can't do that. Ben Matherin, Benedict Arnold, whatever you want to call him, bro, whatever that shit was, bro, like that. I don't know what that shit was. That was ridiculous. I do agree with Bobby in terms of playing TJ McConnell, but not for the reasons that he mentioned, because we all know he don't want the Indiana Pacers doing this series anyway, bro. He's just not saying it out loud. But TJ McConnell, bro, in this situation, bro, like I thought he was supposed to be in the
What? I'm not a hater like you, Leaf. I've been, if anything, I was actually rooting for Indiana last night. I mean, all right.
I understand you rooting for him for a game, but hate cannot be expressed through words. It can be expressed through actions, bro. Like, let's just let that be known. That's number one. Number two, bro, like all know.
No, Leaf, Leaf, you're not walking past that. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Why
not walking past? Because we all know, bro, you don't want Tyrese Halliburton winning a championship doesn't work for you, Bobby, bro. We all know that, bro.
It doesn't affect me, Leaf. See, I'm not sure. Leaf. I don't look at what another man doing and be mad about it. That don't got nothing to do with me.
Well, your franchise traded him there, bro. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, I mean, You talk to me. Hey, wasn't you the one after Game 6 talking about, bro? Like this, if the Pacers if the Pacers is in the finals, bro, something wrong with the NBA. You did say that,
Yes,
bro. We got
that doesn't have any. What does that got to do with anything, Lee? I don't think the Indiana Pacers are that are a championship level team, but they're here, and I mean, you know. Go ahead.
Listen, but you was right about TJ McConnell playing in those minutes. I thought he was the only one that was pushing pace continuously. He was the only one drawing the defense in continuously, bro. Obviously, we know what he can do on defense. The last game he had 5 steals. So I think they could have used that energy as opposed to playing hot potato with the basketball in the last 3 minutes and allowing Benedict Mathurin to get to the free throw line and miss 3 free throws. One off of being Nick Anderson. In 1995, bro. Like, so I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, bro. Like, they just fumbled at the 1 yard line. And the second and another thing on defense, when Nembhard switched off with Neesmith, SGA said, I'm getting to the free throw line. I'm getting to the free throw line. That's it. Because he was already in foul trouble and he was already making bad fouls. And to get to that check thing before I leave, listen, you can be a great defender and get cooked. And Chilltown, you mentioned T-Mac giving Andre Karolinko work. You mentioned Elijah one giving whatchamacallit work. Last time I checked, the Indiana Pacers don't have nobody on that level. So so who you get cooked by absolutely matters, bro. There should be no reason, bro, why anybody that's less than Akeem Olajuwon, if you are a great defender, giving you work. It shouldn't be nobody less than T-Mac if you are a great defender giving you work. That's where you start.
Leaf, but Chet's not on that defensive level. I know some people think he is, but he's not.
I don't think he is neither. This is where the great allegations don't come in, bro. Now, if you are great, it shouldn't be no reason why. Jamal Mashburn is giving you 50. It shouldn't be no reason why a rookie Glenn Robinson is giving you 36. I'll get to that. I'll get to that another time. But at the same time, bro, like the great allegations, bro, I don't think Chet is great. I think he's a very good defender. I think he can be great someday. But like that great defender with Chet, I don't really buy that too much. I think he's a great rim protector, great shot blocker, but great defender. We gonna have to pump the brakes on that.
All right,
all
right, Lee. Well, appreciate your insight as always. I'm surprised you don't got a brim on that do-rag.
Later, Lee. We'll get with you later, brother. Good to talk to you, my man.
All right, Lee, Biggie. Appreciate you. Let's keep it moving. We got a couple minutes. Let's see who we can all get in here. We can squeeze in here. I don't know your name. It says what's
it's
up?
Olo.
Olo?
Yes, sir.
Olo?
What up?
Hey, what's up, Olo?
Big fan of y'all, man.
Thanks,
They've
brother.
been watching y'all for about 4 years now.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Is it true, Chill, that you're located in the Sunshine State?
I am. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm from I'm about 30 minutes away from Orlando. My town is 15 minutes away from where Vince Carter's from.
Okay. So you in Orange County?
Volusia County.
You're in Volusia County, okay.
Yeah. West Volusia. East Volusia.
I'm in Palm Beach County.
Oh, okay. I got people down there.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know y'all opinion on SGA's playmaking. Now, I know that we only got one game sample size on this 0 assist thing that everyone's talking about, but I want to know y'all opinion on SGA's playmaking.
I think SGA is a damn good playmaker, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I mean, I don't think he's at the level of Luka as a distributor or Tyrese Halliburton or Trae Young as a distributor, but I think that he's a good passer. I think he's a damn good connecting passer. I think he did a good job at that, not just last night, late as the game went on, but I felt like he did that throughout the course of the series, more so as a connector. I mean, I think he missed some people, but I also thought that on the defensive side of the ball, I thought that he made some plays in the passing lane. I thought he made some plays on ball that were good. He wasn't great, but I thought that he was good. If I had to choose between 10 being, I don't know, Leonard on defense or Jordan on defense or James on defense and 1 being Luka, I think he was in terms of overall on defense and offense as a playmaker, I give him a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
What grade would you give him as an on-ball defender from A to like F?
Well, last night, man, he definitely gets a D-. last night because I'm bigging up SGA as an on-ball defender. Meanwhile, TJ McConnell is blowing his doors off. He can't stay in front of anybody. And I'm the one advocating for SGA as an on-ball defender because I've seen him defend on ball. He's actually does have some good he's got some really good anticipatory instincts where he beats guys to spots. But last night he wasn't good at all. No, not at all.
And what about, I heard Ox touch on Miles Turner's offense. Ox, what is your beef with, I'm not going to say beef, but what is your thing with Miles Turner as a player?
It wasn't the offense last night. It was actually the defense. It was the rim protection and lack thereof the rim protection, and then just not being a monster on the glass. I think Miles Turner should be a better rebounder. I think he should have a little more hustle, a little more pep to his step when he's trying to get to that help side. I think he's too slow. I think this is recent. I remember Miles Turner being faster, you know what I'm saying, being more energetic, being quicker, faster off his feet. I don't know if he's dealing with some type of injury or something like that, or if he's just getting older. But this version of Miles Turner, if in last night's game in particular, if you're not going to be protecting the rim, if you're not going to be making second efforts on rebounds and rim protection, you got to be able to knock that three ball down. And if you're not going to do either one of them, I think you need to sit on the bench.
So you don't think he had much impact, like at all, last game?
Negative impact.
Negative impact. Okay. Chill. What about you?
Well, he did do the big man things, and I feel like that was necessary. He couldn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he did do the big man things in order for them to be competitive in the game. He did. He's not much of a rebounder, and I hate that about him. But he did protect the rim. He did man the paint. His closeouts were a lot better. I did like that about him. Other than that, I give him a B minus.
B minus. And I realized that Tyrese Halliburton shot, I believe, 6 for 14, 7 for 14 from the field. What do you think about his ability to take the defense out beyond the 3-point line with his ability to shoot from deep, and then his ability to take it inside whenever he wants to, sort of play inside out? Like he'll manipulate you on the perimeter, and then he'll find a way to get to the rim. I like the way he was driving right and getting to the rack, forcing that foul on Chet Holmgren the last couple of minutes, I believe, in the fourth quarter, getting to the rim, making those layups off the glass.
His shot creation has gotten much better. His shot creation is a lot better than what it was in the past. His long ball hasn't been good in these playoffs. I mean, I think he missed 6 out of 7 last night in terms of long balls, but I think that him getting to the rim when he's aggressive, he can get to the rim. He's got that high dribble that doesn't look like it's on a string, but it is. He's got that right to left, and he's got that in and out, and he's 6'5", so he can get to the lane, and he can play through contact, which I really like about him. And I thought he did a good job in getting downhill yesterday and forcing the action, and it worked. So I thought Tyrese Halliburton was good. The problem that we had was late in the game, Shai took it over, and I'm on record saying this. Ox knows this about me. I'm on record saying this. There comes a stretch where my best player is better than your best player. And what happened last night, I felt like Shai, them last 6-7 minutes of the game, I felt like he took the game over. And I felt like that was the difference in it. In addition to what Benny did, I felt like Shai took the game over.
On defense, he's definitely good on defense.
All right, Olo, appreciate you pulling up, fam.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your insight and everything, man.
Yes,
Check
sir.
you next time.
Yes,
Talk
sir.
to you, brother.
Salute.
All right. I did text Claire. I asked for 3 more minutes because we got one more person in the lobby, y'all. And I gotta let my man Classic get his takes off about last night's games and whatnot. What's up, Classic?
Yo, what up, guys?
What up?
What up? Yeah, I'm disappointed in the Pacers. I had picked them at 4, and clearly that's not going to happen. Chill, I agree with you that I don't think TJ McConnell and Tyrese Halliburton should ever be on the court at the same time. I honestly don't think that Andrew Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton or TJ McConnell should all 3 be on the court at the same time. I think that Rick Carlisle should try to figure out a way to stagger those minutes to where each of those guys have their own chance to just create offense for everybody when they're in the game. Because a lot of times with Andrew Nembhard, he over dribbles to me. Like even that shot he hit in game 3 over Shai, I didn't like that shot because it's like he did so many dribbles just to get a tough shot off. And I feel like they're passing up a lot of catch and shoot opportunities because too many guys are trying to go in their bag. And I think you only need one person that's out there really just dribbling like that. So
Classic, I don't think that they should never be on the floor. I just don't like them late in the game. I like TJ and Halliburton on the floor together just for stretches, not never though. No, I'm not saying.
But I don't like it too because, like I said, they're missing out on some of the catch and shoot opportunities because so many guys are used to dribbling the ball. I don't think they're like comfortable just catching and shooting like Neesmith
That's
or
why we don't
Benedict
have them in the
Mathurin or
game. That's
Obi
why we wouldn't have
Toppin.
those guys in the game late. But early on in the game or throughout stretches where we can speed the game up, I want those two guys on the floor. Yes.
Oh yeah, I disagree, and I also disagree with you about Chet being food at the rim. And that goes into a bigger problem with me. I think he's food whenever somebody bigger than him is on the court. Like when Miles Turner was actually backing him down in the paint, and Chet was just so thin he couldn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
But because Miles Turner, I don't know, he's so obsessed with shooting the ball, just like a lot of bigs are now. I actually think that like shooting the ball for bigs is overrated. I would rather have a non-shooting big than a big that can shoot because whenever the bigs are missing shots, they're not doing nothing. Miles Turner only had 2 rebounds last night, and that's another problem I got with Wemby. I had said months ago.
Two classic.
Two. I
Two.
think, but that's what I remember. I told y'all
Man, you
months
know
ago,
what?
and y'all
Shut this
killed
shit
me.
down. I'm out, man. I can't handle this shit.
Y'all said that. I said that I think Wemby would be better as a third scoring option because he plays just like that. He plays on the outside. He doesn't play on the inside, but because he's an amazing defender, I think a team with him as the third scoring option, but the primary defender would be like a killer because those guys don't dominate the paint. And if Wemby didn't know how to shoot, I think he'd actually be better than what he is now because I don't think nobody can stop him. So
Yeah.
that's my
Okay.
takeaway, man. Too many bigs are shooting the ball, and hopefully Miles Turner can get his shot back, but it's hard getting your shot back in the finals with that pressure on you. So if he can't get his shot back, man, the Pacers might not win another game.
Right. All right, Classic. Appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, brother. Good to
All
talk
right,
to
man.
you.
Y'all have a good
No
one.
doubt. Yes, sir. 2 damn rebounds. Two.
Yeah,
All right,
chill.
Clay,
That's
we coming.
that's
We coming,
ridiculous. Yeah, that's
rebound.
ridiculous. So I'm when I just hear it, he only had 2 rebounds again. That's crazy. I have nothing to say about that. That's just terrible basketball, Miles. You need to do better than that if you want to be a champion. This is your chance, brother. You better step it up in Game 5. They're gonna have to play great basketball in Oklahoma City. Chill. I don't think Indiana can go down in this series. Indiana needs to win Game 5.
The Game 5 winner, Ox wins the series. I'm saying that. I'm on record saying that right here, right now. Game 5 winner of this series wins this series. I'm saying it.
2 rebounds. That's ridiculous. All right, y'all. We're out of here. We're gone. I'm sorry, Claire.
It's good to see you guys. Y'all know what time it is when y'all see us every Saturday. Me and my man Big Fella, we are here. We will see you soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When last time you talk to your mother? You ever in the Portland area, you had too much to drink, call my man up. He'll make sure that you get to where you're trying to go. We'll see you guys soon. Until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man.
All right,
see
y'all.
you guys today.
Peace, man. We'll see y'all on Monday. Because game 5's on Monday, right, you?
Monday night.
Right. Okay. So I'm sure we'll be on playback Game 5 on Monday. No playbacks this weekend. No games this weekend. Tap into the W. It's a lot of good WNBA games.
Caitlin Clark back today.
Right now. Yep. Are they playing in New York or is it in Indiana?
That's why we ain't got no games this weekend because it was a scheduling situation because they play in Indiana today.
Indiana.
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's in Indiana, man. Caitlin Clark's back in the building, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all take care of yourself. Love yourself. Drink water and never, ever, ever drink and drive, y'all. We'll see you
later.